Hey, how you doing? It's Kurt with Manana No Mas again. And you know, ooh, got a call yesterday from a local company. And I've been doing some local SEO and doing just trying to get some more local stuff. And I've got uh been very clear. I got two verticals. I got one that's, enterprise packages, membership and learning sites, big jobs like converting large SCORM websites into more manageable, more budget oriented WordPress websites using Lifter LMS and some other tools. And so I've got a plan, right? And so I've got this local initiative and I've got my enterprise initiative. And this local initiative is offering really good semi DIY packages to local startup businesses and teaching them how to make small edits in their websites and keeping them on budget. So I get a call yesterday from a local tow company, and nice guy, really nice guy. And he's talking to me, and he says, "Well, I think I might need a new website or someone to fix my website or whatever." And you can imagine how the call goes, and then he says, "Well, you go to click on the phone number and nothing happens, or you go to click on this button and nothing happens." And I don't know. I paid this guy $2,500 already, I'm not, I don't know if it works or doesn't work, or and I probably need to do some Facebook stuff, and I probably need to do some other stuff too. I just need to make sure that that what I'm supposed to be doing online is getting done. And I kind of put him at ease, and I said, hey, we do have some budget oriented packages, and I'd love to talk to you about your website. Let's get together and have a cup of coffee and just see if we even want to work together or not. And then, provided that we do, let's see what it is that I could really do for you. And so we're going to meet. We're going to meet today in about 45 minutes. And I did a little research before I go over there. And so I'm assuming this is a local provider. Sold this guy a $2,500 one page website. Sure enough, the phone number is clickable, but it's got a pound sign for a link. So it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. There's no web forms. There's no way to schedule an appointment. There's no way to do e-commerce on this website. You couldn't swipe a credit card and say, here's a $200 deposit to tow my truck to another city. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that on site. There are photos of the client and his equipment, and there is some copyright material on there, copywritten material on there. So there's content. You can't say there's no content. It's got a wild use of white space on the site, and then these big cartoonish looking blobs on it. Now, I'm not one to talk about design much, right? Like, you like it or you don't like it. I have created some websites in the past that I thought were hideous because they were exactly what the customer asked for. And so I'm not going to bash, that. At the bottom, the only link that works on the website is the link that takes you to Webflow. It says, site is powered by Webflow. And you click on that and it tries to sell you a Webflow package. Folks, this is what we're working with. This is when I listen to people like Kevin Geary and he says, we got to be professional. We're supposed to be professionals. We got to be professional. Do you want to design like a chump or do you want to design like a professional? And this is why we're going to this and why we're going to that. And sometimes he sounds so crass and sometimes he just sounds so opinionated. And then you stumble upon a situation like this. This is a local business. They don't have a ton of money to be throwing at digital marketing. The guy's tow company is named after the city, for crying out loud. And when you do a search for him on Google, he doesn't even come up on the first page. References through the Hutchinson Chamber of Commerce come up before his own website. So thank goodness he's a member of the chamber, right? We're in a small town. There's no reason why you should be able to put in towing in this town and he should be on the page. He should be in the top 4 or 5 listings. His tow company's named after the town. From an SEO perspective, that's 50% of the job, right? So I went to the SiteMaker's other I went to his website, their website. I don't know. I don't even know who this person is. I went to their website and they had some, hey, look at our sample websites. So I opened up a sample website and it actually looked good. Looked good. And I didn't know if it was Webflow or WordPress, but it looked good. And then I picked up another one and I went through that because they had 3 samples. Look at our websites, they had 3 samples. And so I looked at a second one and there were blank spots where the pictures were supposed to be. So I refreshed the screen and the pictures didn't come up. And that's the problem with running a portfolio of websites that you've made. Sometimes the client changes something. Like if you did a link to something rather than a screenshot to something, if you do a link to something, the client could change something could break on the website. And if it's a live preview of a sampled site, you run the risk of maybe something not showing up. But design wise, I thought they looked okay. But what was funny was a comment that the client made to me yesterday. He said, when I asked the guy why my website looked the way it did or why it didn't function right, he just said, well, if you could have given me more money, I could have made it better. You got $2,500 to make a one-page website and none of the links work. How much more money do you need? I know that Kevin and Robert had that discussion, I don't know, 10 or 15 days ago by now. And it said, if your customer doesn't have $5,000, you don't have a customer. Folks, I got to tell you, when I talk to people like this, he already spent $2,500 with somebody else and he has a product that doesn't work and doesn't do what he needs it to do. As long as he can get management of that URL back from whoever made that other website, because that's sometimes a problem, right? Sometimes getting the URL, getting control of the URL is a problem with some fly-by-night folks. But I don't need $5,000 to make this right for this customer. I just don't. I'm in Robert DeVore's camp on this one. Um, I'm gonna do what I think is right. I'm gonna make him a hell of an offer to build him probably a 2 or 3 page, normal brochure website with links that work, an about us section, a services section, because services for a tow yard aren't, it's not just towing, right? Usually it's towing, storage, things like that, right? So how do I get my car back? Hey, if my car's been impounded, how do I get my car back? You know, uh, how do I have it dropped off at a third party? How do I take the car to the shop? Like, you want to answer those kinds of questions. So probably a 3 or 4 page website and a site where people can book an appointment for towing, right? So they could book an appointment with them, and a way for them to swipe a credit card through the website and secure the appointment for towing. Like I think that would be a really cool thing to do for him, is to say, hey, your website now not only allows people to contact you, like it's going to do more than, hey, call this number. People can call you, they can send you a message, and they can book a set appointment for you to go get their vehicle and do something, and it's prepaid. Like I think that would be knocking it out of the park for this guy. And I don't need 5 grand to make that happen. I can make that happen for less than half of that. Am I saying that because I think he's already been jerked around a little bit? Yeah. Yeah, I am. But, and here's the thing, I'm not giving you the name of the company. I'm not giving you the name of the provider that I think took advantage of a situation. That's not why I'm here. I'm not going to grow my business by bashing other people. I'm going to grow my business from doing what's right, treating people well, and getting a really good reputation in this town for doing the things that we can do. If you don't think a client is paying you enough money to do a job, especially when it's a creative job, then don't do the job. Just don't do the job. Just don't do the job. If you're not into it, and you're not sold out to the client and their mission and their message, and you don't think there's enough money in it for you, just don't do the job. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I I have had so many times in life where I have felt disconnected from something and I've tried to plug through, and the results are always kind of lackluster. No matter how hard you try, it seems you can't get it right. When I was in the car business, working on the service side, there were certain customers that would come in and something would go wrong. You'd scratch the car. You'd leave a dirty footprint on the floor mat. There'd be a fingerprint, not fingerprint, a handprint on the steering wheel. You'd forget to put oil in the car. It'd be something crazy. And then, as the service writer, service manager, I would have to, oh, I'm so sorry. We'll take care of you next time. Let's fix this right now. We'll give you a free oil change next time. Blah blah blah. And you would try to make it right. And the next time they would come in, something boneheaded would happen again. A customer would run into their car. Something. There were certain people that no matter what I tried to control, it just would never work out. And then it was like, well, if you want to go somewhere else, I guess just go somewhere else. I'm really sorry that this happened to you, but I can't. I don't have a way to make this right. Like every time I try to take care of you, something goes wrong, and that would happen sometimes. I feel like that's the way it is in the web space. There are certain jobs, certain clients, certain tasks that no matter what you put into it, it's probably just not going to work out. And I think that's probably what happened with this individual. Maybe the guy that owns the tow company didn't communicate well enough to this guy, or didn't give him enough pictures or enough information or enough assets or whatever. Or maybe it was like a lot of time back and forth to get the assets and the information. Somebody got frustrated somewhere and the product took the hit. But now, unfortunately, the customer has a website that sucks, and the person that made it, if I was if I had less integrity, that person's reputation would be getting a run through the mud right now. I mean, you basically took a template on Webflow, charged some dude $2,500 for a one-page website where none of the links work except for the link that goes to your company and to Webflow. I, People are going to argue all the time about what the appropriate cost of a website is. People are always going to argue about that. My nephew could do it for $100, or hey, it's going to be $30,000 to get you started with our team. People are always going to argue about, hey, somewhere in the middle of that's probably the truth. But it just feels wrong when someone took someone else's money and it doesn't work. That's where I oh, that's where it really gets me. You took somebody's money, no matter what the money was. Oh, pardon me. You took somebody's money, no matter what the money was, and you didn't make it work. You didn't make it work. So to me, Rob DeVore and Kevin had that argument about $500 websites versus $5,000 websites. And that whole conversation had a lot of steam. A lot of people were talking about that. And I got a little caught up in it myself. And what I realize as I keep thinking about things, because I think about my two verticals. I have a local vertical really focused on startups and helping people launch and get their message online, doing it affordably. And I run the WordPress meetup here in town. So it's like, I'll teach you for free. I'll teach you for free how to do this stuff. But if you don't want to do it, if you need a web person, if you need an agency to do this for you, we're here. We'll do it for you. And then I have this enterprise channel where we're catering to people, 80, 90, $100,000 websites. We're all in. We're all in. So I'll admit I have like this schizophrenic almost approach to web design, because I have this, hey, what's in the box? What tools do we have? And sky's the limit. Do whatever you want. So I have this weird schizophrenic approach to things. But at the end of the day, when Mañana No Mas says to a client, hey, your website's ready, let's do a review of it, it works. It works. Things work. Buttons work. Tabs work. If you don't like it, we can make a couple of changes here. To charge someone $2,500 for a one-page website and have none of the links work except the one to your company and to Webflow, that to me is It's criminal. It's criminal. It's I think, as Kevin Geary would say, straight to jail. Straight to jail. Uh, so I got a little Robert DeVore in me, and I got a little Kevin Geary in me. I'm gonna go meet with this guy. We're gonna meet in half an hour. I'm gonna make him a proposal that'll knock his socks off. We're gonna knock it out of the park for him. It's gonna give us a good jump start here in the community for helping someone local. And I got to be careful. I cannot grow a reputation for being the bargain basement guy in town that's going to make you a kick-ass website. I cannot have that reputation here in town. But I also do not want to leave people floundering around in a tech desert. This is a really weird place that we've chosen to live in. So this small town in Kansas has like the fastest internet I've ever had in my life. The internet is streaking fast here. And there are a couple of tech companies here. I'm friends with a few of them. Curtis and Linda to be standouts. Linda had a company called Leighton 45, and then she renamed it something, and I can never remember the new name. And then there's this other guy named Curtis, does a lot of design work, not so much website stuff, but a lot of design stuff. And they're great people. They're great people. And I got a gut feeling that tells me that their deliverables are solid, right? But I've been to so many companies. In fact, I'm gonna drink this cup of coffee, and then I'm gonna go meet this client at a coffee shop where their website half the time doesn't work at all. And the coffee shop that is in, so it's a building, and then there's a coffee shop in the building. So the building is an art studio, and their website barely ever works. Sometimes it just says critical error, boom, doesn't work. And then the coffee shop inside has a picture of a menu, but you can't order anything through the website. It's just a picture of a menu. Like, I'd love to help people like that. There's one of my favorite food trucks in town. She's funny. She says, "How much would a website cost?" And she needs a website bad. So you know what we did? We made a template for people that own food trucks, and we made a super affordable package for people with food trucks to say, "Hey, I want the food truck package from Mañana No Mas." And then Mañana No Mas instantly gives them the food truck package, which has a menu and e-commerce setups and web forms and all that's in there. So that's already set up. So it's like instant. Here's your site, and then we teach you how to change, the title and the picture and update the menu so that it sells your stuff instead of like a stock photo of a hamburger. Yeah, $2,500, one page Webflow. None of the buttons work. Oh my goodness. All right, folks, I'm out. I'm going to go make somebody happy today. I hope that you find a way to make someone happy today. Have a great day. Bye bye.